So today, we're going to dive into this powerful, ancient story of love, faith, and, well, complete collapse. But here's the twist. We're going to look at it through a really fascinating modern lens called the Brain Kinematics Model. It basically reimagines these huge human experiences as dynamic processes happening right inside our minds. Let's get into it.
And that really gets to the heart of the mystery, right? How can an identity, something you've built over decades with discipline and mastery, just shatter, all from a single glance? This story gives us a pretty dramatic case study, and the science gives us a provocative and frankly kind of mind-blowing new way to understand it.
Okay, so let's set the stage. We start with a man named Sheikh San, and he's not just anybody. He is the most admired spiritual master of his time. I mean, this guy is the pinnacle of stability, the very definition of a life in perfect balance.
Now, to get a handle on his mindset, the Brain Kinematics Model, we'll just call it BKM, gives us this really useful term, a high-ranking balance axis. Just think of it like a perfectly stable mental structure. All his thoughts, his habits, his entire sense of who he is, it's all coherent and incredibly strong. By every single measure, he's at the absolute top of his game. But then, something starts to stir, deep down beneath the surface. This recurring dream starts to haunt him. Now, for a man of his faith, of his stature, this is way more than just a nightmare. It's an impossibility. It's like a crack appearing in the very foundation of his reality. So in BKM terms, this isn't just some random dream. Nope, it's what the model calls a continuum signal. You can think of it like a warning flare that's being sent up from the deepest parts of his mind. It's a sign that his super-stable identity has hit some kind of tipping point, and his brain is subconsciously screaming at him, hey, something big is about to change.
And that signal, well, it leads him on a journey. He actually travels to Rum, the very place from his dream, to figure out where this disturbance is coming from. And what he finds there isn't just going to change him, it's going to completely shatter him.
And this is the moment of impact. It's not a slow burn romance, it's an explosion. His senses are just flooded by this single, overwhelming input, the sight of this girl. And this isn't just visual information. It's a signal so powerful, it's about to overload his entire system. And just like that, this one sight triggers a total system failure. His ability to reason? Degraded. His sense of self? Collapsed. The very identity he spent decades building just dissolves into chaos. In an instant. We're not just talking about a change of heart here. The model frames this as a full-on neurological collapse.
BKM has a name for this catalyst. It's called a high-amplitude appearance attractor. It sounds complex, but it's simple, really. The girl's beauty acts like a shockwave, a sensory input so powerful it just completely overwhelms the decades of mental structure he'd built. In that one moment, his stable identity was just no match for it. So now, he's trapped. He's in the grip of this new, incredibly powerful attractor, and the Sheikh's journey takes an even darker turn. He's lost all control, he submits completely to this girl's will, and it leads to his ultimate humiliation. And she doesn't just accept his love, oh no. She gives him a series of impossible conditions. And look at them. Each one is perfectly designed to systematically dismantle everything he once was. These aren't just cruel tests, they are precision strikes against his old identity.
From a BKM perspective, this whole humiliation process is a mechanical forced reset. Every single demand is another shock to his system, physically breaking apart the neural connections that made up his pride, his faith, his very ego. The old structure has to be completely shattered before anything new can possibly be built.
So what is actually happening here? Well, the Sheikh has fallen into a state that BKM calls idolatry. And in this model, that's not just a religious term, it's a neurodynamic condition. He has mistaken the appearance-level attractor, her beauty, her face being heaven, for a deeper spiritual truth. He's become trapped in this shallow, intense loop, completely cut off from the global balance he used to have. So just as the Sheikh hits rock bottom, he's abandoned, he's broken, and intervention arrives. But what's truly fascinating, and where the story takes another turn, is that the transformation doesn't end with him. It starts to spread.
A loyal friend, hearing about what happened, comes to find him. Now this friend is so emotionally stable that he can enter the Sheikh's chaotic mental state without getting sucked in himself. In BKM terms, he acts as an external continuum regulator. He prays for 40 days, essentially broadcasting a stable emotional field that helps the Sheikh's scrambled mind begin to find some coherence again.
And this is wild. Just as the Sheikh is being pulled out of his collapse, the whole process inverts. The girl now has her own transformative dream, where a voice commands her to follow the very man she just destroyed. The emotional field between them has completely reversed polarity. This points to a truly mind-bending BKM concept, reciprocal attractor coupling. The model suggests that the intense emotional energy between them has literally created a continuum bridge. Their minds are now dynamically, neurologically linked. Her internal state is now reorganizing in parallel with his. Their transformations have become totally inseparable. And all of this leads us to the final, dramatic climax of the story. The Sheikh, now restored, actually senses her transformation and turns back to find her. Their final meeting isn't about passion or humiliation anymore. It's about something far, far deeper.
The story ends with the girl accepting the Sheikh's path and dying in his arms. In Sufi mysticism, this concept is called fana, which means annihilation, the dissolving of the self into the divine. And get this, the BKM model describes the exact same outcome as the complete dissipation of residual strain. It is a stunning parallel, the same profound idea, described in two completely different languages, separated by centuries. So from that BKM perspective, her death isn't a tragedy at all. It is the ultimate resolution. It represents the zeroing of all that turbulent emotional energy, all that residual strain that was driving the story. It's a convergence, a return to a state of perfect balance, the nothingness of pure potential.
So let's just quickly recap this incredible journey. It started with the dream. That was the preconscious signal of imbalance. Then that instant love, the high-amplitude attractor that caused the total collapse. His humiliation served as a forced reset of his identity. The girl's reversal showed us their minds had become coupled, and it all led to that final union, a total continuum convergence, a zeroing of all strain. It's just a perfect arc of collapse, reorganization, and resolution.
And that leaves us with one last kind of provocative thought. This model frames our identity not as some fixed, solid thing, but as a dynamic, stable pattern of energy in the brain. And if that's really true, it has to make you wonder, how stable are our own identities? How close are we really, at any given moment, to a single experience, a single glance that could trigger a complete collapse and reorganization of everything we think we are?